In today's video, I want to show you a shocking idea I discovered a year ago while preparing my chessable course on the Spanish for knights. White goes against common knowledge to get a very special kind of advantage. So without further ado, let's jump right into the idea. Okay, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, knight c3, knight f6, the four knights, and now bishop b5, the so-called Spanish four knights. Yeah, it resembles the Ruy Lopez, the Spanish opening, but with the presence of the knights on c3 and on f6. Okay, Black's most normal move is bishop b4, the symmetrical variation. After castle, castle, d3, yeah, we defend the pawn on e4 and start to threat bishop takes c6. For instance, a6, bishop takes c6, d takes c6. We would win a pawn with no compensation for black. So after d3, d6 is quite normal. Black is mirroring us, and yeah, so far is no problem with black being mirroring us. But after bishop g5, things start to get more concrete. Yeah, this is a very strong ping. White is ready to play knight d5, among others. And now, taking the knight is the most natural move. But in case black wants to keep mirroring us, bishop g4, yeah, we'll have to find something pretty concrete. Yeah, this is what I faced 1 year ago when I said, okay, what am I going to do with this dubious or directly bad variation? I thought, okay, knight d5, and there are several good ideas for us. And yeah, white is doing a little bit better, but not as we are not getting such a big advantage as the one we're getting with bishop takes f6. Yeah, bishop takes f6 is the right way to punish this variation. Yeah, what's the idea? Okay, first of all, queen takes f6 is not possible because of knight d5. Yeah, we're forking the queen and the bishop, and once the queen goes away, we capture on c6, b takes c6, and thank you for the bishop. Yes. Instead, bishop takes f6, g takes f6 is the most normal. Now black is threatening knight d4, our knight is pinned, and here, surprisingly, bishop takes c6 is the best move. Yeah, and this is a little bit of a paradox because we strengthen the black center and gave black the bishop pair, even though we have a better position. So why are we having a better position? What's the point? Okay, the point is the f5 square. Let's try to discover why white is better. Just imagine you have the evil bar and say white is way better. Why would it be? Well, the thing is that when you have the bishop pair, there are certain squares that you cannot control twice. Yeah, the bishop pair cannot control this square twice. Yeah, this bishop is unable to control f5. Only the light square bishop is able to control this square. So, on the other hand, our knights are able to control this square. And this square can become a weak square. So first of all, we play h3, trying to force black's light square bishop to decide which way to go. In case of bishop e6, f5 is coming, and we have to play knight h4. Yeah, and we are controlling f5. f5 is not possible. The queen is also ready to come, and sometimes the knight e2, knight g3, no, not sometimes, this is the plan, is coming to control f5. Besides, f4 is also a way to improve the control of f5. So as you can see, black is having severe problems controlling f5. Okay, in case of bishop takes c3, b takes c3, the knight won't be able to go controlling f5. It's well controlled anyways. So after bishop queen d7, queen h5, and f5 is under control, and we are ready to play f4, bringing all the power to the king side. Once we play f4, e takes f4, rook takes f4, and the other rook will come, and we are building a strong attack in the king side. So after h3, the other option is to play bishop h5. Yeah, f5 now is not control, but they can play it in gambit style. So we play g4, no problem with our king position. Yeah, black is unable to bring pieces. After bishop g6, now we have to play the accurate move. Yeah, d5 is the threat. So we have to play knight e2 to answer d5 with knight g3. Yeah, in this way we are defending e4 and at the same time increasing our control of f5. Yeah, knight h4 is coming. Now, d takes e4, d takes e4, queen takes d1, rook a d1, and now we are going to bring the knight to f5 and going to bring the king to the center and at some possible moment to the queen side, where there are several weaknesses. So white's position is clearly superior. In case black wants to trade everything, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, bishop c3, b takes c3, then his king's position will still be pretty weak. And we are going to play queen h5, f4, and we are going to create threats on the king side. Besides, we can also play sometimes for rook b1 and rook b7 and double on the b file. So things are pretty nice for white. Given the bishop pair has to be done in the right way. If we start with bishop takes c6, b takes c6, and bishop takes f6, now black is able to play queen takes f6 as we have no knight d5. So we have to take on f6 first. I'm sharing videos twice a week about chess improvement, chess ideas, openings, endings, every kind of chess related stuff. And if you are a chess improver, this material will definitely help you. So consider subscribing. That's the best way you can support the channel. Thank you. Yes, but it is absolutely more human to try to face it with knight d5. I understand, and this is the most obvious question. Yeah, from the practical point of view, I think knight d5 is playable. But if we use an engine, we'll discover that things are far from simple. Yeah, after knight d4, what used to be played was knight takes b4, knight takes b5, knight d5, knight d4. Yeah, black is mirroring still. And after queen d2, queen d7, bishop takes f6, bishop takes f3, and there is a game by Capablanca that knight e7 was played and it wins right away as king h8, bishop takes g7, king takes g7, queen g5, king h8, and queen f6, checkmate. But things are not that simple, of course. For instance, against queen d2, knight takes f3, g takes f3, bishop takes f3, seems to be losing after bishop takes f6, g takes f6, and queen h6. But actually, after queen h6, who is lost is white. King h8 and knight f6 is answered by rook g8, and our king is done. Yeah, white could have tried to play a little bit better by starting with queen e3, hitting the bishop, trying to gain some oxygen for our king, but now black can play c6 and the position is complicated. Yes, bishop h5 would have been beautiful for us as queen h6, bishop g6, and f4, and now things are decided as the bishop is going to be lost and f takes e5 and knight f6 is there as well. The best line for white is also really mind-blowing. After c3, c6, knight takes f6, g takes f6, bishop h6, knight takes f3, g takes f3, bishop h3. This is still is better for white, but it's still pretty difficult to play. So this is why, while preparing the material, I thought that bishop takes f6 was simpler to explain, easier to explain. In a normal game, I guess that knight d5, knight d4, and knight b4, trying to play the same way that Capablanca did, is good enough to have a fantastic position. After getting to know this idea, later on I faced another position in which the idea is pretty useful. And I'm talking about a6. Yeah, a6 trying to force us back to a4. And I discover a game. The players are Anton Smirnov and Chu Ruotong from China. And the game continued in this way. This is a fantastic example. Bishop takes f6, good move. G takes f6, as we know, queen takes f6, simply lose a piece after knight d5. Yeah, it's the same idea. Queen d8 and bishop takes c6. So G takes f6, and now bishop takes c6, B takes c6, and okay, the bishop is here, and black played a6 instead. So what should white play to increase the control of f5? Well, Smirnov played knight h4. Yeah, increasing the control of f5, opening the way for the queen, and preparing f4. The game continued with bishop c3. Yeah, also, this knight will be able to come to g3, as mentioned earlier. So bishop c3, bc3, and king h8. Okay, black is ready to use the g file, but after f4, okay, queen h5 would make a lot of sense, because then the rook won't be able to come right away because of f7 is hanging. So queen h5 was also interesting, but after f4 the game took a surprising turn. Yeah, the game continued with e takes f4. The normal continuation would be rook g8, queen h5, queen e7, d takes e5, d takes e5, and rook f2. And white is having so much fun on the f file. Yeah, look at black's structure. It's completely destroyed. This pawn is weak, those are weak, those are double, this one is... Okay, black's pawn structure is a disaster. So the Chinese player preferred to capture an f4, and after rook takes f4, d5, the game continued with queen h5, completely normal. Yeah, the queen is really well placed on the king side, and the rook is coming to f1. D takes e4, rook takes e4. It's hard to understand what is black up to, because white's position is so strong, but the position is going to get interesting. It's a rapid game. So rook g8, blundering this pawn, queen takes f7, and queen f8. And here the game took a wrong course. Now white is completely winning materially and positionally, but the game can end right away. Can you spot the way to finish the game? Yeah, white was winning right away with knight g6. Yes, the rook is not able to take because of queen takes f8, rook g8, queen f6, rook g7, and checkmate, rook e8 checkmate. And in case of h takes d6, rook h4 is made in one, queen h6 and rook h6. So this is surprising. This is a rapid time control, a rapid game, and this kind of thing happened. But the game continued with queen takes f8, rook takes f8, and white converted the material easily after rook e7. I'm going through the moves without any commentary because the position is completely winning. Rook b8, rook takes c7, rook b2, counterattacking, rook e1, getting the rooks to the 7th rank. Now rook b7, black cannot tolerate the rooks on the 7th rank. Now rook e7, rook takes c7, rook takes c7, bishop e6, rook takes c6, bishop a2, rook takes a6, and okay, white is 3 pawns up, and I'm not going to continue. So this, you can imagine, won easily. If you are curious, I'm leaving the PGN down in the comments below. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video and see you next time. Goodbye.